Assalamu alaikum, my dear lucky friends who are following the way of our Prophet Rasûlullah. We're going to continue reading about our Prophet, but first I'd like to read something from the book Ethics of Islam. The Qur'ân al-Karîm is the word of Allahu Ta'ala. It is not a compilation of Hadrat Muhammad Alaihissalam's personal views or of statements made by philosophers or historians. Muhammad ﷺ made a tafsir of the Qur'ân al-Karîm. In other words, he expounded on it. His expoundings are called hadîth sharîfs. Islam consists of the Qur'ân al-Karîm and hadîth sharîfs. So, let's continue about one polytheist that went too far. Rayhânat-ul Arab was introducing himself to his tribe as an eximious, that is, a select chosen man. He should have been grateful for these blessings, hadn't he? He should have accepted and believed in Allahu Ta'ala, who granted him all these blessings, hadn't he? Then, this greedy, ungrateful person wants that we should add yet more on what we granted, that is, more property and more sons. He does not appraisingly try to be grateful for the blessings he attained. What a big ambition is this, and what an ugly ungratefulness. By no means, that is, the wishes of this unbeliever and his greediness will not be accepted. His property and his sons will not be increased. For to our verses, that is, the Qur'ân-i Karîm, has been refractory. Although he understood at heart that My Rasûl is trustworthy and a prophet, he dared to deny due to his obstinacy. What a big heresy. I will expose that unbeliever to very sad and bitter torment. Regarding Saûd, mentioned in this verse, it was declared in a hadith sharîf that Saûd is a mountain in hell. A disbeliever can climb it in 70 years. Later, he falls down, and it continues so. Then that disbeliever thought how he could talk against the Qur'ân al-Karîm, that he heard this from Rasûlullah, and he plotted, in his opinion, and prepared some words. Woe to him, how he contemplated and plotted about the Qur'ân al-Karîm. Again and again, woe to him, how he plotted. Then he looked at his people's faces for what he will say about the Qur'ân al-Karîm. Then he frowned and scowled because of his anger, and since he could not find anything to say against the Qur'ân al-Karîm, he was so upset. Then he turned back from believing in Allahu Ta'ala and His Rasûl. And he was haughty, and he said, this, what Muhammad says, is nothing but magic, learnt from sorcerers and conveyed to us. This is nothing but the word of a human being. However, he had previously confessed, when he was among his other polytheist friends, that the Qur'ân al-Karîm was a wonderful word and bore no resemblance to the words of humans and genies. Then this denier, by changing his words, slandered Qur'ân al-Karîm, which it never deserved, in order to please those people around him. Then he made himself deserve the divine torment. Allahu Ta'ala declared, I will cast him into Sakar hell, what has been explained to you as to what sakar, hell is, that hell both leaves nothing from the body, it perishes everything, and it reinstates again and continues to apply this same torment. Polytheists listened to the Qur'ân-i. The notables of the polytheists were preventing people from embracing Islam by various tricks and by cruelties. They would prohibit the Meccan people from listening to the verses recited by Muhammad ﷺ. However, they themselves would secretly come near the house of Muhammad ﷺ, and they'd hid in a corner and listen to the verses. As morning came, things became clear in the daylight, and when the notables of the polytheists noticed that each of them were there, they had secretly come to listen to the Qur'ân at night. So they would blame one another and say that let's not do this again. Let's be consistent. But they would go again without informing each other and listening to the Qur'ân by hiding in a corner. When they saw each other in the same morning, they would again be astonished. They would say, we were not going to meet like this. We were not going to listen. They would disperse, swearing not to do the same thing again, but they would not be able to keep their words. However, by yielding to their carnal souls, their nafs, by becoming arrogant and having vain hopes, and since they were afraid of being blamed by other polytheists, they did not become believers. They prevented others also. Moreover, they shouted in the streets, Muhammad is a sorcerer. When we meet again, we're going to discuss the message of our Master, Rasûlullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alaikum salam.